What's up, guys? Show334 here, bringing you another vlog. I had a feeling I'd be making this video. Well, kind of. I had a feeling I wasn't going to be surprised if I had to make this video. Basically, long story short, I'm really annoyed because the next step for this truck, you know, I do the little things like the shocks and whatnot, and the wheel and tire setup, the drag strip, all that kind of stuff. The next big thing for the truck was going to be an 8-speed swap. And that, if you don't know about, I just kind of learned what all is entailed in an 8-speed swap. And I was going to do it over the winter anyway, but now that I know what's entailed with an 8-speed swap, it involves a lot. It has to be expected, but like there's more, it's more than just like a flex plate and a converter and a trans. It's all electronic shift and blah 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 whatnot. So anyway, that was going to be the plan for the winter, and I was really hoping that my 6-speed would just, that's all I had to do was last until October. And here we are in June, and it didn't blow up on me, but I'll show you guys what it's doing. I knew this wasn't far off. My transmission has been acting up lately. It's been doing, so last year I did a burnout during Woodward. Maybe if I still have the footage, I'll put it in here. Last year I did a burnout during the Woodward Dream Cruise right downtown Pontiac, and as soon as I was done with the burnout, the trans was completely locked up. I could not move it forward, reverse. I had it in drive, and I was stalling the converter to like 3 grand, and it would not move. Finally, I stalled it up to like 3,800 RPMs, and it finally like clunked and came out and didn't lock up anymore. And it did that once last year, and I just kind of, I kept it in the back of my head and kind of forgot about it.
Hey, come on, clear that knee. Will not move. It won't move.
He.
I think this thing just had the brakes lock up on it or something, because all of a sudden I came to a stop and the thing just went like this. I'm like, what the hell? And I put it in gear, didn't move. I had to hit the gas and it finally like let go. All right, so we got moving and I did another burnout. Kinda, I didn't even touch the brakes this time, and it was still, something was still locking up. I don't know if it's in the rear end or the trans or the T-case or something, but I just matted the gas, didn't even touch the brakes, and it was, I could tell I was pushing, and then all of a sudden I hit the gas a little harder and the truck just shook like something let go, and now it's free driving again. So gonna have to look into that, but obviously won't be able to do any more burnouts down here for the show, which is pretty stupid. Dumb. Stupid.
And then this year, as soon as I pulled the truck out, second gear started to stutter at stall. If I'm driving 50, 60 miles an hour, you know, cruising in 5th, 6th gear, and I punch it to let it downshift by itself, and it goes into like second gear, either it can't find it, and sometimes it doesn't know what to do, so the motor just sits there and revs to like 7,500 RPMs. Or like a couple of weeks ago, I was taking a log of what the transmission was doing, and I downshifted to second and punched it, and it held second for about a second and a half and then just let go. And the motor kissed like 7,600 RPMs, which scared me. Maybe a little nervous, but everything was fine. So I knew, okay, it never acts up from a dig. ever. Well, yesterday, this is the annoying part too, is I wasn't even doing anything stupid. I literally took my truck from work. I live 5 minutes away from work. I took it home to lunch and it started locking the trans up again, just driving. And I got it home, didn't pay, I kind of, okay, whatever, just doing some weird stuff. And then I go to leave my house and I come to a stop sign and it locks the rear tires up, like the trans locked up. I put it in reverse, put it back in drive, starts moving, it hits second gear, I turn the corner, and I just hear this, like, I can't describe it, I hear it go boom, and then it makes this really bad whining noise. And then I got to work, and I'll put the videos in here of what happened when I got to work. I think I just blew the trans, listen to this. It's in neutral right now, we put it in gear. Hold on. Alright, so I'm going to put it in drive. Goes through first gear fine. Ouch! Trans is closed. So now there's kind of a little backstory of what happened. Again, I didn't get any of this on camera, well, besides what I showed you, and it wasn't anything cool that happened. So now what I'm going to do is, my buddy Brandon let me borrow his trailer. By the time you guys are seeing this, I'm already back home, but I'm leaving for 2 weeks to go somewhere. And the day I get back, I was supposed to go up to St. Ignace to go to the car show and hang out with everybody. We got an Airbnb, it's got it all planned out. I'm gonna be late because I get back the day after everyone else goes up. So I need the truck by then. And I also am doing a drag and drive July 16th, or 14th, 15th, and 16th, Michigan's drag and drive. And I signed up for that. It's like $350, it's non-refundable. The plan is, I'm not doing the 8-speed until the winter. That entails way too much, it would take way too long, and I don't have the $5,000 right now. I'm buying parts through the summer as I go so that when it comes October, November, I can start the process. So what I'm gonna do with this, the truck, as you'll see here in a minute, the truck still runs, moves, and drives. I'm gonna load it onto the trailer I got hooked up to the van. Right now, in this video, I'm leaving in like 3 days. So I don't have time to set the truck up, pull the trans, and give it to somebody. So I'm taking the truck to a buddy who actually built the rear end for me, put the True Track and stuff in the rear end for me. Taking it to his, he does Chrysler transmissions and stuff like that. And I'm basically telling him to band-aid it, fix what's needed, fix if it's a one-way clutch that went, if it's a, you know, whatever it is, if it's a couple $100 and it fixes it and the trans is not full of metal and it's savable and the converter is savable and whatever. Basically fix what's needed, put it back together so I can run it for like 4 more months. That's all it's got to do. It's got to make it through July, August, September, and October. Maybe not even October. Just into September would be fantastic. So I'm gonna band-aid this 6-speed and then go from there. So right now I'm gonna load it onto the trailer under its own power because it still runs and drives. We're gonna take it to my buddy's house and we're gonna drop the pan, see if there's a lot of metal, see what it looks like inside, and then he's gonna pull it while I'm gone. And yeah, go from there. Alright, I'm not sure if you guys can hear the whining when I pull up, but you notice on the video. Here it is. So I'm gonna take it a little bit later here. I'm gonna take it to my buddy's house and drop it off. We'll throw it on the lift and we'll pull the pan and go from there. I also gotta load up my stock wheels, put them on because I'm not driving 4 hours on those things, turning way too much RPM. Well, I got the truck back there. Hope I don't blow the van up. Yikes. This is definitely the heaviest thing I've towed with the van, but it's doing all right. It's a little bouncy, a little wavy, but 7,000 pounds, give or take. I don't know how much this trailer weighs. Truck's about 55. It's doing decent. We're almost there. What's up? I'm really hoping it ain't too glittery.
I'm betting you're, you got a one-way. I mean,
I even use when I put this pan back on, I even use the Mopar stuff because someone said that Mopar black stuff is great.
it's actually pretty good RTV. I used to have so much of that shit.
Like this happened, and I was driving to work. I lived 2 minutes from work, so it happened. I got to work and I drove around the parking lot, but that was it.
Okay.
I wasn't driving on it, grinding around lately, or like at all.
That looks not promising, brother. That looks like a big old bowl of nail polish.
Holy frick!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you something left the chat. And I'm betting if we get in here, we're gonna see pieces of one-way. That's just what it sounded like.
Yeah. Holy frick!
Yeah. So once I get most of it out of here,
Jeez.
we can investigate a little bit more. Get there, but
Holy frick!
so yeah, I got a flashlight. Yeah, she's
There's a little bit of chunks in there.
she's in the medical field. We look for sick, not sick. This one's sick, and not like a good sick either. Like a like a skateboard. It's like needs surgery. So figure out what that is. I'm betting it's piece of one-way. Be thrust bearing material too. It's really hard to say. But you haven't blown any of your accumulators out, which they're kind of known for doing in the earlier vintages. Sorry for the shine right in the face.
Oh, that's alright. Yeah, I don't know how tight I put that on.
It don't matter if I tighten them on by hand. You never want them to leak because you hate to get a comeback for something like that.
Yeah.
You gotta take the whole pan out again. Sleep, which sparked, of course.
Alright guys, I got a lot of explaining to do while this guy can just cut right in front of me. No big deal. Anyway, sorry about that. A lot to explain. Why the jump? If you can tell right now I'm in my truck. Before I explain the jump and everything, I'm just gonna show you how this thing drives. So my future plans for this thing are to do an 8-speed swap. But that's going to be a winter project. That's going to be like $4 grand to do, and it's going to take a lot of time with all the things I got to do and stuff like that. And it's right now, as I'm talking to you guys, it's the end of June, and I have a lot of stuff to do with this truck this summer. This is a 6-speed truck, if you don't know. So I wanted to get this truck back on the road as soon as possible. It drives well. What I ended up doing was, I think I said this in the beginning of the video, but it's been a while. It's been a while since I've talk to the camera. What I ended up doing was this transmission, my old transmission, blew up 2 days before I had military obligations to go to. So, and not only that, the day I got back from those military obligations was the exact day that I was supposed to drive up to St. Ignace for the St. Ignace car show, which I did. You guys will see the video after this. Drive up to the St. Ignace car show, and then following that weekend, I was going to go to the track, and then the weekend, 2 weekends following that, I signed up for the Drag and Drive in Michigan. So I really needed this truck for especially the middle of the summer. Like I said, because the 8-speed swap is going to take a long time and it's pretty pricey. When I took this truck to the guy's shop that you guys saw earlier, we pulled the pan because I wanted to see if I could just band-aid the transmission that blew up. I wanted to see if maybe something blew. There was little to no metal in the pan. We could pull it out and replace the clutches and seals, or maybe replace a one-way if that's what blew up. And as you guys saw, the transmission was actually pretty toast. There was chunks of metal everywhere, and when I get home, I will show you guys the clutch that actually went out. Long story short, it wasn't really savable for cheap. Of course, you can rebuild it. You can pull it apart and clean the ever-living crap out of it and whatever like that. But it was going to be expensive, and I really didn't want to spend that much money. Only because this transmission is only going to be in this truck for another 3 to 4 months. So while I was gone on military obligations, basically, long story short, I sourced a used transmission through my work. I work at a dealership. I sourced one for like $450. It has like 120-some thousand miles on it. It's all stock. I bought it. I had my buddy Ryan pick it up and take it to the guy who was working on this for me. He flushed the converter as best as he could. He flushed the lines. He swapped the key case over. He swapped the transmission over, and basically got it done for me. And then I had Ryan and Nate go pick it up, so that by the time I got home after a 2-week obligation for military, it was ready. It was ready to pick up and drive. So I'm super thankful for all those guys like Ryan and Nate, and especially Eric, who did it all for me. I'm super thankful that they got it done, because I don't like having other people have to do my dirty work, but because I was physically out of state and gone for 2 weeks, and the timeline I needed this done by, I just had to do it. So I did already, like I said, ever since I put the transmission in this thing, I put already like 600 miles on it. Well, 500. Put like 500 miles on it. I've raced it a bunch of times. It's been 120 mile an hour already, and it's still doing good. So all I really needed to do is make it through. It already made it through St. Ignace Car Show. It's got to make it through the test track day on July 1st, and then it needs to make it through the Drag and Drive, which is the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Now, obviously, I want it to make it through like September, October. That'd be fantastic, so I can just drive around. But those are my obligations I need it for, and I don't see that being a stretch. This training, I will say, the 5th, 6th gear change is not the greatest, and I can definitely tell this trans isn't my transmission, but it's still smooth. It's actually it shifts a lot cleaner than my last one. My last one was definitely it was trash. It shifted funky. If you got on it, even for the downshift, just a gear, it kind of lost its way. Didn't know what to do. It would lock up. It would slip a little bit. It just wasn't a good trans, and that stuff happened so slow over time that I didn't really realize it until I put this one in it. And like driving it, like this thing's super responsive. Even though it's used, it's just still in good shape and super responsive. And like if I want to downshift the gear really quick, it doesn't have to like get confused and think about it. It just does it. But yeah, I already raced it. It's been doing good. So just gotta pray it at least holds out for 2 more weeks. If not, would like it to would like it to hold out for 3 more months. Would be ideal. All right, so yeah, this right here is the culprit. Come on. She was toast. All the like, I don't know what you call them, forks. They're all bent over.
not good. This is the 4th gear clutch, which makes sense because I had a 4th gear clutch problem anyway, where it would slip and just not be good. So yeah, this was definitely the culprit. I don't know if I said this in the video in the beginning, but the really kind of annoying part is I wasn't even doing anything cool. Like, I wasn't like flooring it or racing it or drifting it or doing a burnout or nothing. It just simply, I came to a stop and it was like it locked up and then boom, I just heard it. It still always moved and ran and drove, but it was just grinding and slipping and wasn't ideal. So I hope I covered everything. Like I said, I'm sorry for the jump. The jump is only because that like day where I pulled the pan, the day after that is when I left for training. So I couldn't record anything, and I had this whole thing being done behind the scenes pretty much for me. So when I got here, it was ready. Otherwise, we would have done it ourselves and pulled it out. But I still would have taken it to Eric probably because I don't rebuild transmissions or nothing. So I would have wanted to see if it was Band-Aidable or whatever, Trans Blue, but she's still good to go. Now she's good. So I'll still be going to Michigan Drag and Drive on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of July. And other than that, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next vlog.